If you're over 60 and sleep with this common device near your bed, you could be unknowingly disrupting your heart's rhythm for 8 hours straight. I'm not talking about junk food, alcohol, or lack of sleep. I'm talking about a gadget millions of seniors use every single night. Without realizing it may be increasing their risk of arrhythmia, anxiety, and even early morning stroke. As a heart health specialist, I've seen patients suffer memory fog, panic attacks, and sudden exhaustion, all traced back to one object placed less than 2 feet from their pillow. If you have it near you right now, don't move. I'm going to explain exactly why it matters. If you're over 60 and sleep with this common device near your bed, you could be unknowingly disrupting your heart's rhythm for 8 hours straight. I'm not talking about alcohol, or stress, or snoring. I'm talking about something most seniors consider completely harmless. Something that glows softly on the nightstand, vibrates silently in the early morning, and stays just inches from your body until sunrise. Your smartphone. Yes, your phone, or tablet, or even your smartwatch. These small wireless gadgets emit a form of electromagnetic frequency, EMFs, that can affect your heart rate variability, HRV, especially during deep sleep. And HRV is no small metric. It's the single most powerful indicator of how well your nervous system recovers overnight. Low HRV has been linked to stroke, heart attack, blood pressure instability, and accelerated aging of the cardiovascular system. Most people don't even know what it is until it's too late. As a heart health specialist, I began noticing a pattern in my older patients. They'd report waking up exhausted, restless, or anxious without knowing why. They'd say, "I slept through the night, but I don't feel rested." That's when I started asking a simple question. Do you sleep with your phone by your bed? Over 80% said yes, and in some cases, it was right under their pillow. Let me tell you about one of them, Mr. Gerard Blake, age 73, a retired accountant from Portland. He didn't drink, didn't smoke, walked daily, took all his medications on time, but he started waking up feeling wired and tired. His heart rate on waking was oddly high, and by mid-afternoon, he'd feel drained and foggy, like his body was stuck in fight or flight mode. We ran cardiac tests, no arrhythmia, no major issues. But when we measured his HRV overnight using a clinical-grade monitor, the data was shocking. His HRV dropped by 40% every time his phone was on and within arm's reach. When he moved the phone to another room, even without turning it off, his HRV improved. He felt calmer in the morning, more focused, less tense. His sleep became restorative again. That one change, removing the EMF source from his sleep space, transformed his nights and his days. Here's what most seniors don't realize. Your body, especially over 60, is far more sensitive to invisible stressors. An EMF exposure from wireless devices can overstimulate your sympathetic nervous system while you sleep, preventing deep recovery. That means your heart never fully relaxes. Your stress hormones stay elevated, and your blood vessels become less responsive. Now, this isn't about fear. It's about knowledge. And one simple change in your nighttime routine could make a dramatic difference. But if smartphones shocked you, wait until you hear what your cordless landline is doing, even when it's turned off. The next section might just convince you to unplug for good. If you're like many seniors, you've kept your landline phone as a safety net, just in case the power goes out or your cell battery dies. And in most cases, it's a cordless one. Convenient, portable, always close by on the nightstand, ready to ring in case of an emergency. But here's what you may not know. That cordless base emits pulsed electromagnetic fields, 24 hours a day, even when the handset is docked, even when it's turned off. And these EMF emissions are far more intense than what your cell phone gives off while idle. I've seen patients unknowingly sleep within 2 feet of their cordless landline base, and night after night, their heart rate variability drops, their cortisol stays elevated, and their parasympathetic recovery, the system your body uses to calm down, never fully activates. Which means they wake up in a low-grade fight-or-flight state and their cardiovascular system stays tense all day. Take, for instance, Mrs. Emily Waters, age 76, from Kansas. She was healthy by every measure, took daily walks, cooked her meals, stayed mentally sharp. But for months, she experienced strange nighttime symptoms: tightness in her chest, occasional racing heart, and morning nausea. Every test came back clean. Her cardiologist said she was fine, but she didn't feel fine. When I asked about her sleep environment, she mentioned a cordless landline base she kept just in case right next to her bed. I asked her to unplug it for 1 week. That was all. Within days, her symptoms eased, her sleep improved. Her blood pressure, which had been subtly fluctuating at night, finally stabilized. You see, DECT phones, digital enhanced cordless telecommunications, operate on their own frequency, Unlike old landlines that only transmitted sound during calls, DECT bases constantly ping back and forth with the handset, even when you're not using them. And that wireless chatter doesn't just float in the air. It interacts with the electrical fields in your body, especially your heart and nervous system. For seniors, whose vascular systems are already more fragile, the impact can be far more profound. Here's the hidden danger. Most people assume off means safe. But with EMFs, standby mode still transmits. And when your bedroom becomes a low-level radiation zone, your brain interprets that as a threat. Heart rate variability drops, sleep becomes shallow. And over time, the risk of blood pressure instability, irregular heartbeat, and even small vessel clotting increases, especially in the early morning hours when stroke risk is naturally higher. And this isn't just about phones. The next device may surprise you even more. It's something seniors often use for comfort, for breathing, for better rest. But under certain conditions, it can backfire, causing oxygen swings, stress spikes, and disrupted heart patterns throughout the night. Let's talk about the hidden cardiac risks of CPAP machines, especially for those who use them without proper calibration. CPAP machines save lives. For seniors with sleep apnea, they're often the gold standard, keeping airways open, preventing oxygen drops, and reducing nighttime wake-ups. But here's what many seniors don't know. When a CPAP is improperly calibrated, used without reassessment, or paired with certain medications, it can silently sabotage your heart rate variability and raise your risk of cardiovascular instability. Why? Because breathing isn't just about oxygen, it's about rhythm. Your heart and lungs work in harmony. When you inhale, your heart rate subtly rises. When you exhale, it slows. This natural wave, called respiratory sinus arrhythmia, is one of the key drivers of healthy heart rate variability. But when a machine forces airflow at a constant rate, that rhythm gets interrupted. And over time, the body's ability to switch between rest and alertness weakens. Let me introduce you to Mr. Malcolm Dyer, 79, a retired jazz musician from New Jersey. He'd been diagnosed with moderate sleep apnea and was prescribed a CPAP machine by his pulmonologist. He used it faithfully, never missed a night. But instead of feeling energized in the morning, he started waking up feeling drained, anxious, and oddly jittery. His wife noticed his breathing seemed too mechanical while he slept. When I reviewed his case, I noticed a pattern. His HRV was flatlining. No rise, no fall, just a dull, shallow pattern across 8 hours. His CPAP pressure hadn't been recalibrated in 2 years. And worse, he'd started a new heart medication 6 months prior, which further suppressed his cardiac flexibility. We made 2 changes. First, we referred him back for a CPAP pressure reassessment. Turns out, the machine was over-delivering airflow, keeping his chest in a state of micro-expansion all night. Second, we coordinated with his cardiologist to time his meds differently. Within weeks, Malcolm's HRV bounced back. His morning anxiety disappeared, and for the first time in a year, he described his sleep as restful. Here's the truth most CPAP users aren't told. Oxygen delivery alone isn't the whole picture. If the rhythm is wrong, your body still interprets it as stress. Heart rate variability suffers, blood pressure regulation weakens, and the delicate dance between your nervous system and your cardiovascular system falls out of sync. If you use a CPAP, check your pressure settings regularly. Work with a sleep specialist, and make sure your medications aren't suppressing your body's ability to recover overnight. Because when heart rate variability drops too low for too long, recovery fades, and the risks rise quietly, night after night. And if that concerns you, brace yourself, because the next disruptor isn't even plugged in. It's built into your room, your walls, your bulbs, and for some seniors, it's keeping the brain in day mode all night long. Let's talk about bedroom lighting, circadian chaos, and how the wrong glow might be hardwiring your heart into stress. Your bedroom is supposed to be your recovery zone, a sanctuary for rest, healing, and quiet repair. But if you're over 60 and your room is bathed in the wrong kind of light, whether it's from a hallway lamp, an overhead bulb, or even a digital alarm clock, you might be sending your heart and brain the wrong message for 8 hours straight. That message? Stay alert. Here's why it matters. Your heart isn't just responding to your thoughts, it's responding to light. And when your brain perceives blue or white-toned light at night, especially after sunset, it suppresses melatonin, activates cortisol, and tells your sympathetic nervous system to stay in go mode. That means your heart rate stays slightly elevated, your blood pressure doesn't drop like it should, and your heart rate variability, the measure of restfulness, flattens out. I've seen this pattern play out dozens of times. Seniors who do everything right, eating healthy, exercising, even taking their meds on time, but still wake up feeling wired, anxious, or emotionally off. They say things like, "I slept, but I didn't feel rested," or I always wake up between 3 and 4 a.m. and can't go back to sleep. Let me tell you about Mrs. Bernice Holloway, age 81, from Arizona. She was vibrant, witty, and deeply committed to her wellness routine. But for months, she couldn't shake this fogginess in the morning. Her heart rate would rise unexpectedly around 4 a.m., and her blood pressure, normally stable, was fluctuating wildly at night. She'd had every test under the sun. Nothing looked abnormal. When I asked her to describe her bedroom environment, she mentioned something small, an overhead LED light she kept on dim at night because she didn't want to trip during bathroom visits. It had a cool white glow, bright, sterile, almost bluish, and it stayed on all night. That one bulb was enough to disrupt her circadian rhythm. Her melatonin never peaked, her heart never downshifted, and her HRV data showed a flat line during the hours she should have been in deep sleep. We replaced that light with a warm amber night lamp on a motion sensor. Within a week, her sleep stabilized. Her HRV improved. Her blood pressure settled into a natural drop at night. She described it as a fog lifting. Here's what most seniors don't know. Light is a drug. It enters through your eyes and tells your brain what hormones to release. Blue light stimulates. Red light calms. And the difference between healing and harm could be the tone of the bulb above your head. So if you have overhead LEDs, hallway fluorescents, bright digital clocks, or TVs glowing in the background, know this: your heart is listening. And it may be staying alert all night when it should be recovering. But if light can confuse your heart, wait until you hear what background noise does. The next disruptor is one most people don't even notice until their heart starts skipping beats at 3 a.m. Let's talk about bedroom sound frequencies and the dangerous link between nighttime noise, irregular heart rhythms, and sleep fragmentation in seniors. You might think your bedroom is quiet enough. No loud TVs, no barking dogs, just a soft hum from the fan, maybe the distant hum of traffic outside, or the familiar low-pitched buzz from your white noise machine. But here's the truth. Not all noise is created equal, and for seniors, certain background sounds are doing far more harm than good. Your heart doesn't just beat on its own schedule. It listens, constantly, to your breath, your thoughts, and yes, even your environment. And when your ears detect certain frequencies, especially those in the low hum or high-pitch range, your brain interprets them as signals of stress. That subtle perception increases your heart rate, suppresses your HRV, and reduces the deep, restorative stages of sleep your cardiovascular system depends on. I had a patient, Mr. Nolan Pierce, age 84, from Seattle, who came to me after weeks of restless nights. "I'm not tossing and turning," he said. "I'm sleeping, but I wake up with my heart pounding, almost like I've been running in my dreams." He was healthy. His echocardiogram was clean, but his wearable HRV monitor showed fragmented patterns, bursts of stress response every 90 minutes like clockwork. When I visited his home for an environmental consult, I noticed something subtle. He had a fan running on low, barely noticeable but producing a low-frequency mechanical hum that fluctuated just slightly in pitch. It's a frequency many seniors can't consciously hear well, but the autonomic nervous system does. And the result? Sleep that looks normal on paper, but leaves the heart exhausted by morning. Here's what we know from sleep medicine. Sounds under 30 decibels, especially those that shift unpredictably, like a humming air purifier, refrigerator cycling on and off, or distant traffic, trigger micro-arousals. These are small, subconscious awakenings that prevent you from entering deep REM sleep or slow-wave sleep, which are crucial for resetting the heart's electrical patterns. Over time, those disturbances wear down your HRV. Your heart stays on edge. Your nervous system never drops into full parasympathetic mode. And the next day, you feel it. Exhaustion, brain fog, heart palpitations that appear without warning. And if this continues long enough, it can even increase your risk of arrhythmias or early morning blood pressure spikes. We switched Mr. Pierce's fan to a pink noise generator, one with consistent, non-fluctuating sound waves. We placed rubber feet under his mini fridge to reduce vibration, and within 2 weeks, his HRV jumped by 30%. He stopped waking up with heart flutters. And best of all, he said, "My dreams came back. I didn't realize I hadn't dreamed in months." That's the kind of signal your body gives when it's truly healing. If you're over 60 and waking up with your heart racing, don't ignore it. It's not just aging. It might be your environment whispering tension into your heart, hour after hour. And if subtle sound can throw off your sleep rhythm, the final disruptor might shock you even more. It's not electronic. It's not even mechanical. It's something you wear. And millions of seniors rely on it every night, thinking it's helping. Let's talk about sleep trackers. and how obsessing over your numbers might be silently hurting your heart. It's supposed to help. A high-tech wearable that tracks your sleep, counts your steps, measures your heart rate, and tells you how recovered you are each morning. But for many seniors, these devices, Fitbits, Apple Watches, Oura Rings, even smart mattress sensors, can quietly become a source of overnight stress, not wellness. And the irony? The more closely you monitor your sleep, the worse your sleep becomes. I've seen it time and again in patients over 60 who mean well. They wear their device to bed every night, hoping for insight, reassurance, or motivation. But when they wake up and see a poor sleep score, or worse, obsess over a slight drop in HRV or REM sleep percentage, their stress response activates. Their cortisol spikes. They panic. Did I sleep wrong? What does this mean for my heart? Why do I feel okay but the app says I didn't recover? This constant feedback loop turns sleep into a performance, not a process. And for an aging nervous system, that pressure alone is enough to suppress HRV over time. Let me share the story of Mrs. Eleanor Sandler, age 80, a retired school principal from Massachusetts. She was sharp, disciplined, and health-conscious. A few months after getting a new sleep tracker for her birthday, she began noticing something odd. Even on days when she felt fine, her device would give her a low readiness score. "It says I only had 15% deep sleep," she told me. Should I be worried? Over time, her bedtime routine shifted. She stopped reading in bed, fearing it would confuse the tracker. She avoided drinking water late, even when thirsty, to avoid disruptions. She became anxious before sleep, fearing she'd ruin her score. The result? Her HRV plummeted. She started waking with tension headaches. Her blood pressure rose. And worst of all, she began fearing her own sleep. We ran her through a sleep lab study. Her brain waves showed she was getting adequate deep and REM sleep, but her perception, driven by that tracker, was convincing her otherwise. That false sense of failure activated her sympathetic nervous system, triggering low-grade stress throughout the night. After we removed the tracker, her symptoms vanished within weeks. Her sleep returned, her heart rate settled, and her HRV gradually climbed back to a healthy range. She told me, "I didn't realize how much I was outsourcing trust in my own body to a device." Here's what you need to understand. HRV isn't just data, it's a reflection of how safe your body feels. And the moment you start fearing your sleep, your body treats bedtime as a threat. That's when recovery collapses. If you enjoy tracking your sleep, do it occasionally, maybe once a week. But don't obsess. Don't judge yourself based on numbers alone, and never let a screen override how you actually feel. Because sometimes, the most dangerous gadget in your bedroom isn't loud, bright, or even on. It's the one convincing you that your body isn't doing its job, when in reality, it's doing everything it can to protect you. But now that you've identified the 6 hidden disruptors of heart rate variability while you sleep, what next? Let's move into a simple 5-step bedroom reset protocol, proven to protect your heart, boost your HRV, and help you sleep like you did decades ago. So, now you know. It wasn't your age, it wasn't bad luck, and it certainly wasn't all in your head. The real reason you've been waking up tired, tense, or with your heart racing might have been quietly buzzing, blinking, or glowing right beside you all along. These gadgets, designed to help, can backfire in the aging body, because past 60, your heart listens differently, your nervous system resets differently, and your margin for stress is thinner than you think. But if these 6 disruptors are already in your bedroom, what else might be affecting your heart from the outside? Because next, we're diving into what's happening just beyond your walls, in your neighborhood, your appliances, even your daily habits, that could be silently lowering your HRV and pushing your cardiovascular system into crisis. And the most surprising trigger? It's in nearly every senior's kitchen. We'll talk about that in the next video.